Good morning, everybody. It's Momin at Momin's Art, and let's go start the class. This is the third class to show how to render basic shapes in with the pencil, or you can use the gel pen or anything. The idea is to give you the idea how to render basic shapes for your painting. Let's say if you are planning to paint uh, a seascape or cityscape or landscape, any type of painting, you have to go and do some research before you start the painting. I mean, like, there's so many things involved in the painting, so you have to give a little bit time to your reference photo, and then uh, you should know what are you planning to paint. So let's talk about a little bit. I have the reference photo here. I'm gonna actually, let's start with the sketching, drawing and sketching first, and then we will go. Okay, let me turn off the volume. Okay, there you go. There you go. I don't know, just a setting, a little bit problem. So that image I will render later on, not right away, because I have to explain few things before we start the class, right? So let me turn this off, this image right now. Otherwise, that will be the one image I'm gonna try to see if I can explain you guys like how to render certain shapes for your painting. Basically, anything you draw, you should know how to draw first, and sometimes you don't need to draw as initially I explained some of those paintings. Let me get my sketchbook here. Some of those paintings are doesn't require your uh, drawing and sketching skills. You can just go and render basic shapes with your brush. You don't need to draw, or you don't need to start with the pencil or pen or whatever. So let me do quick demo first. A very small demo on my sketchbook. It's not a watercolor paper. It's just ordinary paper, but I use for my this is for the sketching, either way, for the watercolor. Or so I will go draw a canvas. Always remember, like I said, study your painting first, right? Restrict yourself for smaller canvas by drawing a rectangle. Let's say this is your sketchbook, right? But I will go and create a smaller sketchbook within the sketchbook, and this is, you can divide this sketchbook in more canvases, small thumbnails, I would say. You can do a rectangle, you can do a square also, like that. I actually am I start with the class with the how to study your painting first. Okay, so it's not about right away with the watercolor or not painting anything. It's just about how to study your painting before you start and working on something. So here I have square. You can do circle also if you want. You can do a circle format. You can do rectangle. Rectangle is the most common for the landscape and seascape, but square you can do. This is a second common format, and then you can do a circle also. It's no, I mean whatever you like. It's all you upon your preference, right? Like what do you like? Let me grab my other brush, smaller brush, my dagger brush. Now I will with let's give you the example how to render a painting without any reference, any drawing or anything. So I will get some previous mixes from my palette. I will clean it up my palette. I don't want to squeeze any more colors here. I want to pick up any paint from my, let's get some Payne's gray. That was my red mix actually from the previous class. I think I put some burnt sienna, cadmium red type of mix. So I have no idea. Like what, just you have to visualize like what do you want to draw, right? I said, okay, I want to draw a seascape. So if I want to draw a seascape, then you should know what is in the seascape. Must should have a water, right? You put a water body like that, just a one triangle, just a little bit ripple on the for the shoreline, the water, and the horizon line where the keep the horizon line like this. This is no drawing. It just straightforward, no drawing painting. So I will show you. Just, the reason I'm explaining this because I just to want to show you what can be done if you don't want to get involved in a drawing and a sketching, which is the very essential part of the art. Anything you do in acrylic or watercolor or the oil. So here I'm done with my some paint part of the painting, right? Now I'll pick up some, actually the mix here is this Prussian blue I use, and I use some French ultramarine. So toned, I put for French ultramarine on the top, and I've used some Prussian blue on the bottom. And as you can see, soon as you put a French ultramarine, it start blending with the Prussian blue. So if I tilt my sketchbook like that, paper, and then the French ultramarine will go more deeper into Prussian blue. So it depends how much you want to spread that mix, right? Like if you want to keep French ultramarine all the way down to the on the Prussian blue, you can keep it. You can keep the paper tilted. Like see that I put a paper towel roll here, and now my sketchbook is more tilted. So that's what most of the watercolor artists does. They keep their paper tilted. So I use both. I sometimes when I need my wash to be very smooth and coming down, I tilt the paper. It depends what type of a painting are you planning to do, right? If you need more subtle and more washes like coming down, so let me show you quick here. Let's do the sky. So I put some water here, okay, a little bit water, so I can have a very smooth type of washes. So I put a water, and I'm gonna use some cobalt blue here, cobalt blue, and some cerulean blue. Okay, tone it down. Every time you use any color, you should tone it down with the warmer blue, or let's say I'm using a blue, so I put some cool blue, which is the cerulean blue, has more green shade on it, and then cobalt blue, which has a more warmer blue, has a more red shade on it. So what do? You tone it down. You have to change the consistency of the color by just adding another color. So here I put some that cobalt blue and a cerulean blue mix, and if I put more water, clean water, I just wash my brush, okay? And if I put a little bit more clean water, just drag my brush along the edge of this wash, and now I got a nice graded wash. Basically, the wash is still working. If I put this in a time lapse, or if I sped it up, the painting, then you can see that wash is working, right? But the process is so slow that you don't see that the wash is working. So some people, what they do, they put a wash, and because they're in the rush, they they use the hair dryer, which I can use also. It's on my table right now, but I don't want to use that. It's a very small thumbnail, and doesn't require to dry this out, and the paper is very thin, so it will dry very quickly. But some people, when they're working, they don't have time. They have a thick paper, which tend to take time to they dry the wash, right? And so what they do, they just use the hair dryer quickly, because of the no time, right? And they want to go get it done quickly. So what happened, they're killing the wash. They stop working the wash. In watercolor, the wash is a work by itself. So all you have to do, just put a little bit color here, like this. Let me get some cobalt blue, and I'll show you. Actually, I put some cobalt blue here, right? Now, I'm not sure if you guys can see, the cobalt blue is running now because of the water, right? If I put some more water here, it will run more because it's the gravity and the amount of water I put it, right? So it will run until the water dissipate from the pigment, and just the pigment on the paper. So that time the wash starts slowing down, and it won't run as it was running before because of the water in there. Now you see that is blending very nicely, just because I'm tilting my paper. So like I said, it depends. If you want to keep the wash to a little bit controlled, you don't want to run up and down, you can keep that the whatever that you put underneath to tilt the paper, you can keep it flat, and then the wash will stay where it is right now. And all it does is just go here and there, but it's not gonna run as if you tilt it. So if I keep that here, and the washes start working again, as long as there's a water in there. Okay, just keep it simple, please, and I will explain this in a later classes. Today I want to more focus on the drawing and sketch, how to draw and how to study your painting. And then third, I will explain how to keep the white of the paper. Okay, so now I am done with my this wash, and now let's go to the foreground. I'll pick up some yellow ochre. Yellow ochre is very intense, so I will tone it down with my previous washes. I have some blue, I have some cobalt blue. I could use cobalt blue mix and tone it down. This yellow ochre mix. So yellow ochre is, if I put more cobalt blue, because the cobalt blue it has a red shade on it. So what it does, when you mix with the yellow ochre, although yellow ochre is a dark yellow, right? It's between the orange and yellow. So when you mix cerulean blue with the yellow ochre, it turns into green. But if you use a cobalt blue with the yellow ochre, it doesn't turn that much green, because of the cobalt blue has more red shade on it. So cobalt blue is considered as a warmer blue. Okay, I don't want to make you guys confused. So just along with the painting, I want to discuss all of these small information, so you understand, and you can rewind that video later when you have time, and listen very carefully what I talk to you. Very important, because a lot of people, they don't know. They just focus on just painting, right? They regardless what's going on, what's the chemistry of the colors, right? So here I put some my mix of the cobalt blue and the yellow ochre, some burnt sienna in there previously here. So now the painting is, first wash is done. My sky is done, my water body I done, and then foreground is done. So this is like I said, there's no sketching required, and I can go a little bit more into this painting, get some Payne's gray, mix it up with my get some let's get some burnt sienna, get and then I can put some, because this part of the paper is dry, because I kept the wash up to here. I don't want to run the wash all the way down up to the water body, so I kept it here purposely, and I didn't put the water all the way down. If I put the water down, it will merge into the water, and it'll run until the horizon line. But I kept it up to here, so purposely I want to get some dry space of the paper, so I can do some doodling if I want. It's up to you. You can keep it empty. It's all up to you what type of painting are you planning to do, right? So here I got very basic seascape is done. Now if you want to build some texture into these mountains, you can drop some water, lift some colors, bring some more depth, get some more Payne's gray, put a little bit more, create the light effect into it. Like there's a shape to it. So if you just drop it, you don't need to do very precise work. See on the cavity and the ridges into these mountains, I'm just dropping the Payne's gray a little bit here and there, create some depth into it. I'm going to bring it focus more closer look, so you guys can see now what exactly what I did here. Now, see the ripple, the waves, I purposely left white, so I'm going to put a little bit my mix, the gray mix, underneath these waves, so it will show that there's a the waves are crushing on the shoreline, so it create a little bit depth to it. So I'll put a little bit dark value underneath against the white, and it shows right away that something is has create some depth into it. A little bit in the water also. Let's put a little bit. Not don't do too much, otherwise it doesn't look very good. So here, done. So that's it. So this is what basically, you don't need to do a sketch, or you don't need to draw anything. This is a basic painting without the sketch. And moreover, you can go grab your white color, and then opaque white, you can put some birds in it. You can put you can put a boat here. I mean, like, the list goes on and on, right? Like, you can do so much here because the painting, this is the basic painting, right? With the foreground, with the water body, skies, and then I put some mountains on the horizon line, so create more interest to our painting. So, which consider with no drawing painting. Now let's move on to okay, so let me put this reference photo on or where is the reference photo? Here, let's go a little bit bigger. Here, so look at this the reference photo, right? So the flower, let's say I want to paint these flowers. So you don't want to go and assuming that, hey, there's a circle here, there's a circle here, there's all you have to do, just put the main shape of these flowers like that. See, this one is turning here, this one is turning more towards you, so it'll be more circle. There's a one on behind, you can put this, and one here, although it has the petals are broken, right? So this is fine. I'm just getting a bigger shape, and one here, right? one here, and one some in the background. You don't need to worry about that. And then you put, what do? You put a one circle here. I'm sorry, you know what, let me get this out of here, the reference photo. I didn't realize it's in the way. Let me just make it smaller. Okay, so here, and then you put circle in the middle. When the flower is turning toward away from you, then you put a like a little bit elliptical shape. Basically circle, there's a shape circle, and there's an elliptical shape. So elliptical shape, parabola, or whatever you call the ellipse, or so these are the shapes. You don't need to remember that shape. I mean, like circle is okay. If you want to go more deeper, this is a more elliptical or ellipse, or what they call in a mathematics form. I mean, in mathematics, it's called elliptical shape. So you don't need to worry about. Just remember, like a, you know, uh, like that, because it's turning away from you, right? This one is looking up, so the circle will be like that. This one looking at you, it'll be a more circle, and then I will keep this away from you. So I looking at this side. So now I get a basic shape. Now I will break it down in a smaller shape. So I'm okay. I said, okay, you know what? I have these flowers arranged. You can change it. You can change. I will talk about a little bit more about the composition also today. So let's keep it simple. Let's make it these petals, and one more here. You can bring it out. You don't need to keep it in a circle. You just basically, this is what very, instead of drawing all these flowers and compose it, you don't need to draw everything. You just go with the basic shape of it and compose your painting, and you can just make it, put it here, you can put it here, without putting too much energy, too much effort in it. And then when you realize, oh, the composition is not working for me, then you have to reverse the whole painting. So you don't need to do that. Now let's go. Let me just stream. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so here another one quickly. You don't need to be very precise. Another one here. Now this one is turning away from you, so it'll be a different shape to it. Here, I'm not going very precise here. Just please bear with me, because this is just a study. We're not creating a finished painting, or you just try to explain what is the idea behind the drawing and sketching before you start a painting, and plan your painting. So here I got most of it are done quickly. The last one is here. Okay, so you can do your study with just putting a dark value around it, right? And then you can go like this with a pencil or pen or whatever you have, and then you put a little bit light value in between these flowers. Okay, so now lastly you need to ask yourself, hey, where's the light is coming from? So I said light is coming from here. So all these, the middle part will be a little bit darker from here, and here, here, a little bit darker. Create some depth. Basically, as soon as you uh, say, okay, light is coming from here, then this, the things will work accordingly where the light is coming from. If you said light is coming from here and you start creating a dark value here, then there will be a problem. So you don't want to do that. Let me go focus more, zoom more so you can see what I'm doing here. Now you can go make a dark value with the pencil quickly, put some texture, and you drawing basically is all about the drawing. You draw, compose it, and then you can tell what your painting look like, right? Before we're going on a big scale or put too much effort, and by the time you finish the painting, it doesn't look good. So it'll be a very disappointing moment for you, and we don't want to do that. So, and it's fun too, like you create some sketches before you go. Try your painting in a watercolor or other medium. Although this is a dry medium, works is good too. There's nothing wrong with that. But if your intention is to work in the dry wet medium, that's fine. You can sketch, but and then finally, basically, once it's done, you can go and do the wet medium, which is either watercolor or acrylic. So now this is what needs to be done before you jump on a painting, and and now I can just go grab some Payne's gray. Let me get some Payne's gray, and I can use the watercolor also, right? To see what it looks like and what color I can put it here. You can use a Payne's gray, or I can use a Payne's gray and a Viridian green mix, which give me a nice dark green color. So I can do that also. And same time when you are doing this type of work, smaller thumbnails. Trust me, this is so good. Actually, what it does, it train you with keeping the transparency of the watercolor also. Like, see the white of the flowers, I can cut it in between. Some people, what they do, they put a masking fluid, they put a masking tape or whatever, like. So that will basically, there's a three four things you're doing at the same time. The watercolor, right, the washes, keeping the transparency in the watercolor, and you do the drawing. You compose your painting and how to draw a small objects in your painting. So it's so many things without even you don't even know what is it. Basically training you for the bigger painting. So see that, because I do a lot of watercolor, so I can keep the transparency in maybe you guys are a little bit. Sometimes I see people are careful. They don't work too fast because they're scared that they don't want to mess up with their painting. So here, so I'm gonna do one part I do with the graphite, and the other part I'm doing with the watercolor. So just mixing the Viridian green and then Payne's gray. I'm not using any special colors, or just to show you what can be done with watercolor and without watercolor. So here it's half painting is graphite and half is watercolor. Basic two colors, and I'm gonna use some cadmium yellow also in later time because of the middle part of the flower. Here, let's get some here. Every time you go underneath that flower or any object where the light is less exposed to the light, keep that part a little bit darker, so it creates a very nice beautiful depth into your painting. So here, let's put some straight from the tube Viridian green, and I think I'll stop here because otherwise I'll be working on these flowers for the rest of the class. So let's let's smudge, soften the edges, and bring it out that green color, more softer look. I don't want to, you can leave hard edges, that's not a problem. I'm just because that's not we are here for today. So here now let's get pick up some cadmium yellow, and I got a nice M. Graham cadmium yellow. So let's put some in the middle of these flowers since we are working on the watercolor. So let's put some and get some cadmium orange straight from the tube. You don't need to mix on anything. Just mix here on the paper. Just drop it a little bit here. Let it mix with the cadmium yellow wash before I put it. And there you go. So half of the painting done in a graphite. You're studying a watercolor, you're studying a graphite. So shape, anything you see uh, has a shape, and then you control the light. So I can pick up some gray color out of my palette. I don't need to mix. And then you go see that the middle part of the flower creating some light in it. So now I will go create some more depth to the painting. Just adding a gray color to these flowers, so it'll create more depth to, because I'm controlling the light, right? The light, remember we assume the light is coming from here. Let's put some Payne's gray at the edge of this flower, so it'll create more depth. If you need more contrast, more so you can do that also by just putting a darker value. Let's put some dark here. There you go. So you can tell, like, let me just zoom in, or you know what, let's bring it up a little bit here. That's how this painting looked like. Very simple, very easy, no nothing special here. And you can do that with the very easy uh, quickly study your painting, see what a painting looked like. And like I said, plan your painting before you start anything. That if you need those flowers here, you need these flowers here, there, you arrange it. You do a small thumbnail like this and compose your painting. Compose your painting and see what is do you like what in general it looks good. Or if you put, let's say, if I put it here, let's put the sketchbook here. I put one flower here, 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 one. It doesn't look too good, although it's okay. You know what? I would rather have these flower, one looking here, one looking there, one looking here, one maybe looking towards you, one smaller here, one. That's how you compose your painting. And remember, everything has a shape. Like I said, these flowers has a shape. So you observe that flower, what type of shape. You just, if this flower is a square, you put a square, and then you work your way out with the square, right? Let's say if there's a mechanical anything box or something, right, like this. So it's different from this flower, right? So you look at it, you say, no, this is more look like a geometrical shape. So you start with the square, put one square, put one square here, put one square, and then you do the other sides. I don't want to go too deep, otherwise you guys can confuse. Here, let me erase this. So that would be my basic shape. Now I said light is coming from here, so this side will be darker, this side will be a little bit lighter as compared to this side, because this is less light is exposed, less light to this, and then you do the casting shadow. depends how high the light is. It's this casting shadow is all depend where the light is. If the light is here, then casting shadow will be shorter, right? If the light is here, then the casting shadow will be longer and will be darker here at the edge where the box is sitting on the ground, and it will become lighter and lighter, but it will be a longer casting shadow because of the light is down here, right? So the light, if the light is here, the casting shadow will be very small. So these are the things I will discuss later in the classes, because it's I'm just giving you the clue, like how you draw certain things and then you bring it to your painting. So this is what happening here. Okay, now let's do this seascape painting. Now I can pick up some Payne's gray straight from the tube, and I can put some birds here, bring some more energy to your painting. One bird here, one bird here, here. Not too many, okay, just a few is fine. Maybe three or four, not too many. It depends on how big is the painting. If you're working on a bigger canvas, then you can put some more stuff in it. But since you have a smaller thumbnail, so or if you're working on a smaller painting, keep it very simple. Don't overcrowd your painting, otherwise it'll look too busy, and it doesn't look to your audience, when they're looking at your painting. So it's same thing here. If I put like uh, 10 more flowers here, that painting will become, composition wise, will be very tight, very busy, and all you see is the flowers, 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 right? Although it is about the flowers, but keep it simple. Like maybe depends on, like I said, depends on the size of the canvas. If you have working on the bigger sheets or bigger canvases, you can jam more flowers in there, but compose it properly, so it looks good. When somebody look at the painting, it looks easy on his eyes, not if I give you too much information on a paper, you might get confused. But if it is simple and not like a whole page filled up with the information, then people tend to get confused. But if you keep it simple and very concise, then people will stay and enjoy what you try to represent. Okay, so now let's go. This is the sketchbook, and I explain as I promised. Let me turn this flowers off. So I did the without the sketch painting, which I will keep doing it since this segment. Without the drawing, you can do that, no problem. You don't need to worry about the sketching and drawing business from circle. And but the good thing is, I would suggest you guys, like, do these drawing, because this will help you to do compose your painting. You can do a smaller painting, and draw quickly and compose it. Let's see that the seascape. I can go. Let's go to the. You know what? Let's keep it here. I put another canvas here. Now I put the hills here, right? You can put the hills here, like change the variation, change the composition. Put the hills here. That the foreground, you can bring it here. Water body will be here, and then you put some birds here. So you can change it. You can by not putting all this effort and time, and instead of doing this, you can just draw quickly. Maybe put a figure here. If you can draw, you can put a figure. I will explain these also, how to draw small figures, and for especially people are working in the landscape and seascape or cityscape. Those are the things, because it's a combination of certain things. So you should know. Let's say if there's a person walking on the seascape with the dog. There's a dog here. He's walking the dog. So you should go study the painting, and you say, okay, there's a seagull there, right? There's a seagull here. There's a hills here. Now this shoreline here, there's a water body here, and there's a person walking with a dog. So all these things you have to make sure that you can draw with the brush or without the brush. So you go and you say, okay, I want to study the birds first, like I have a problem drawing. Now I did with the pencil, and then you go with the, just pick up a Payne's gray or any other simple color, and then you do with the color also. Let's say if you're working on the watercolor, then you can just go and draw this with the watercolor like that, right? And the person, let's say you say, okay, I want to study the person because I'm problem. You go put a chest, pelvis, and then you put two legs. If he's walking, make the one leg shorter, the other leg longer, and then the head. Very important to keep the proportion right. That's another subject I will be discussing in the later classes, like how to keep the proportion under control. And then he's walking with a dog, so you make sure you know how to draw those subjects, right, to assemble your painting here. So let's control the light also. Let's put a light, make it, bring in more depth to it. There you go. So now the other thing is you go how to draw these mountains. Pencil is okay. Pencil wouldn't explain too much, but you can go with the cadmium uh, burnt sienna. Put some burnt sienna wash here like this. Let's put some more. Just you don't need to be very precise with these type of objects, right? You go and then you go get some Payne's gray and drop it here and there like this. Just drop these, but if you drop it too much, then it'll be turn into black. So you have to be careful. You don't want to mix too much color. That's how people complain that, hey, my painting get muddy. So this is what happening. If you couldn't control the washes, then what happened, it becomes muddy. So very simple. So you don't want to mix too much, and you just go drop it, drop here, drop there. Let the watercolor works by itself. You don't need to worry about too much. Just drop it here, there. There you go. That's it. So you can tell, like, and then you can just draw. You can just do the softer edge if you want it more precise, right? And here, too much black, the Payne's gray, so you can just mix it up. Maybe put some Payne's gray, let it work with the Payne's gray, get it more darker. Instead of putting a Payne's gray, you can put another layer of burnt sienna, so it create a little depth. And then let's get some Prussian blue, and there you go. So this is basic skills of, if you're working in the watercolor, that's how you study. Or you can even, you working on the uh, acrylic or oil painting always does small thumbnails with what the reference is been offering, then you should know how to draw. I have a student drawing a small bird into the painting. The brush is so loaded with the pigment and the water. As soon as they put the brush on the paper, it just release all that loaded brush into the onto the paper. So, and that's what happened. Like, it just give you a big blob of water, and it doesn't. So when you're working on the smaller object like this on your painting, let the painting dry, let it settle down, and you don't need to put any water. Just grab the Payne's gray, very undiluted, not mixed with the water, and then you go and create a very nice fine marks on the canvas like that. So there's no there's the water. I just picked it up straight from a little bit water, not too much water, and it's I can create a nice dry brush marks with this Payne's Gray. Like, look at this. That's how my brush is dry right now. That's, I mean, there's so much. If I put some water and get some Payne's Gray, see, that's what happened. So if you have too much water, this is what happened. If you need to work on a smaller scale subject or something, then your brush has to be dry like this. So if I need to more control, you get some more pigment, and then you do very quick like that, and then you create a smaller object. Let's say if I want to draw a dog, this person walking, the tail of the dog, the legs, hind legs, he's looking here, so, and the leash of the dog is going. So you can tell, like, I can make a nice brush mark with this brush, right? But because I don't have too much water in my brush. If I have too much water, then I cannot perform this. So look, if I put too much water, then what happened here? If I put here, this is what happened here. Look at this. So you need to be, these are the small things I see very common mistakes in when people does a watercolor, and they get frustrated because they couldn't perform and nobody told them that that needs to be done. So anyway, this is uh, how you plan your painting. Small, bigger shape, break it down in a smaller shape like that, and once you have is done the composition, you said it looks good and I like it, then you pick up the watercolor and then you start working with the watercolor with same same idea, that dark value, light value, dark value underneath the flower like I did here, and create more contrast to your painting and look more brighter. And then you control the light. You said, okay, light is coming from here. If the light is coming from straight from the top, then the most of the painting will be look even, but again it will be dark value underneath these flowers. So maybe that the flower middle part would be evenly lit up and the flowers would be probably not casting so much shadow within the flowers. So it all depends where you projecting the light on your painting. It's all up to you. So if I go make a figure here, since it's dry, right? I put a figure here. Someone is standing on the beach. He's looking in the water and like this. Okay. Now I can be, the light can come from here or can come from this side or from the top. It's all depend. Let's say if the light is coming from here, right? So the shadow will be like that, and depend how high the light is. If the light is here, the shadow will be shorter, but if the light is here, if the sun is here, I would say, and then the shadow will be longer, like that. So this is how you explain your painting, study your painting, uh, pick up all these small objects. You should know how to draw before you jump on it. How to draw, then you do a small composition. You put, I can put this person here. I can go, maybe I can put a boat here. Just a composition point of view, I can put a boat here in this painting, make it look more busy, and get some Payne's Gray because the light is coming from here. So that boat will be, let's do some, there you go. So that type of stuff, you should know certain things in the painting, how to draw, and then you practice individually draw, and then you can use, you can draw a boat here, and let's say, let's turn the page. I want to keep this page open because so you guys can see where we started. And so if you want to draw a boat like that, right, you can draw a boat, quickly, and then you go get some burnt sienna, put it quickly into the bowl like that. Put some Payne's gray underneath, casting shadow. The light is coming from this side, so I will be casting shadow like that. This part of the board, the cavity of the board, will be more darker because it's blocking the light, and this will be darker too, but I will keep it. Let's get some sepia color so we can create more depth to this painting. Just I will put some more here. Let's put the mask here and the rope here. See that my brush is, oops, sorry. My brush is kind of water in it, so as soon as I try to make a rope, and rope get thick because of the too much water in my brush, so that tells right away. Like I know that hey, there's too much water, so you need to keep this handy. Clean your brush or get some more pigment to make it very fine, sharp marks like that. Maybe a rope here, maybe put a flag here, maybe get some cadmium red and put a flag here like that. Put a maybe I have the cadmium red. Let's put some on the board. So and some yellow ochre, and let's do some more drama to this sketch like that. So these are the things you should understand before you start the painting in the watercolor or anything else. So okay, let's do a painting. Okay, and maybe I will pick up a very simple painting of the seascape, and let's get the reference. Let's get this out of here. What time is it? Oh, we don't have time actually. We almost run out of the time. So I think we'll keep it next class because it consumes so much of the time here on this sketching and how to without drawing. Okay, with drawing, how to draw bigger shape, break it down in a smaller shape, and either with the graphite you can compose it, or you can compose it with the watercolor or acrylic. Watercolor, acrylic, you basically the colors are involved, so your composition extended through the colors also. How sometime there is a composition involved with the colors as well. So this will be I will be talking about later in the classes. I don't want to make it too complicated. This class is already jammed up with so much information, but if you go review it few times, you will understand what I'm talking about. So let me review quickly. So we're not doing a demo. I'm sorry, I apologize because I ran out of the time. So this is basically is most of the stuff is here, and the beginners, like if you are starting out and you are planning to do watercolor, acrylic, or so, I would suggest start from the observe your painting or your other flowers, whatever you want to draw. Check, see what the shapes of these flowers, right? These are more circle. If the flower is turning, it will be a different shape. If it is looking up, it will be a different shape. So these are the things you have to observe instead of just rushing and drawing and start, because I know some people are excited, they just want to get it done quick, which is fine, it's okay. uh, Inspiration is good thing, but you don't want to start without the information, then you could be disappointed if you don't achieve the result. So again, shape, break it down smaller shape, then you work with the watercolor, put some watercolor. Is the painting without the drawing, if you can handle it, this type of sketches with the brush, you don't need to draw anything. You just go start with the first wash. When it's dry, then you put smaller objects in it. If you can handle this type of sketches in your painting with a brush, you don't need to draw. You just put this, and when you're doing a sharp mark like this, you make sure you don't you don't make sure that you don't have too much water in the brush, and get a nice sharp brush like that. You don't It doesn't need to be a dagger brush. You can use a liner brush like that which is more springy. And let me just do a quick demo. So if I have this, it does same thing, but this dagger brush is more. I like the dagger brush more. It gives me more control on my sharp mark. So you can use either of them, whichever is suits you, right? It works for me very good. Dagger brush, you can try that too. And I will leave the in the description what make this is a Rosemary and Co. I use so much of the all the marks are gone. So, and this is I order number 3 liner brush. I order from Amazon. I'm not sure what's the name of it. Golden some golden color, golden brushes or something. A very synthetic is there's no, it's very artificial bristles on it. Basically, it's meant for acrylic, but I use for the watercolor to get a nice, very sharp mark, on the painting. Okay, so the summary of the today's class: no sketching. If you are sketching with the brushes, make sure your brush is loaded with pigment and less water. So then you can achieve a nice sharp brush marks. I mean, a sharp marks. And the brush has to be a little bit stiff and has to have a little sharp edge on it. So to achieve a very sharp, or you want to do some drawing with the brush. Uh, Here, bigger shape, the flowers, break it down in a smaller shape. Then you do the background or negative space or whatever. I would call the background, keep it simple. So you do the background, create some more value with the graphite. Without the graphite, use the watercolor. With graphite will achieve you in very less amount of time your results, how to compose it, how to draw. And then if you like, you can go with the same thumbnail. You can do a watercolor just by putting certain colors. You don't need to be very fancy here. Just keep it very simple, 2 3 colors, and achieve the composition, the drawing aspect of the painting, and the light. The most important, light, the drawing, the bigger shape, break it down in a smaller shape. And here, quickly change the composition if you don't want to go with the watercolor, and you like this painting. You said, okay, you know what, this looks good actually. Then you create some more variation with the pencil. You turn this painting other way around. You make these hills a little bit taller, make it more visible, although it's helping the painting in the foreground and the water, but you can make them more visible. Keep the sky smaller, keep make the foreground more bigger, keep this water body smaller. So you create a few variation and then decide like which painting is work for you. So then you go a bigger scale, 15 by 20 or something, that 15 by 22 the paper size, and then you work with this. Boulders, how to study your painting. You want to draw figures, boats, the birds and the mountains and water. How to work with these things. You have to do a smaller, like practice. Once you have a control, then you go back to your bigger painting and then you start your painting. Okay, I think that's enough for the today's class. I'm gonna try see if I can keep it simple, especially for the beginners. I know there's a lot of information there, but trust me, just practice and understand before you start a painting. Study your painting, give your painting a little bit time, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Study what happening, what colors, how to compose, how can I change it, how to draw certain things, and then you start your own painting. Okay, so let's stop here, and I hope everybody have a in Toronto in Canada. We have a long weekend. Monday is a holiday, which is tomorrow, and whoever in Canada watching this live class, very happy good weekend, and I'll see you next week with some more extension of this class, how to draw, how to assemble your painting, and yeah. So okay, see you then. I'll see you next.